Okay, so this is what's called a composition of functions. It's called composition. So if you want to do a search on the internet, you can, that's what you're looking for. But basically you have one function, f of x, which is the square root function x plus 1 over 2. And then you have another function, g of x, which is 2x squared minus 1. Okay, so what you are supposed to do is find f of g of x. In other words, you're going to put, instead of x here in this original function f, you now have g of x. So instead of x, since g of x equals 2x minus 1, these are the same thing, they're equivalent. So in here, I'm going to put 2x squared minus 1. Because that's g of x. Whoops. And instead of x in the original square root part, I'm going to put 2x squared minus 1. So I'm going to write the square root, and again, instead of x, I'm going to write 2x squared minus 1 for x, and then I'm going to finish completing what was already there, which was the plus 1 and the divided by 2. So that's what you want to be showing. I could put parentheses around this 2x squared minus 1, but they're not really necessary because I have a minus 1 and then just a plus 1, and this bar is already a grouping symbol. So then I start simplifying. So I see a negative 1 and a positive 1, which cancel each other out. So now I have the square root of 2x squared over 2, and then I see another 2 and 2, those cancel. So I end up with the square root of x squared, and the square root of anything squared is itself, so the answer of what is f of g of x is x. So it looks as though these are inverses, but you want to be careful. I don't know what other parts this teacher is talking about, but here in a square root function, the domain is x has to be greater than or equal to negative 1. That's the domain. And in g of x, the domain is all reals. So they look like they're inverses when you find f of g of x is x, but their domains are different. But that's pretty technical. Your teacher probably doesn't go into that. They just want you to actually do this series of steps, substituting one function into the other for x and simplifying and showing that step by step. All right, hope that helps.